Hi, my name is Jamie Spencer and I'm a graduating student this year at FFHS.
Hello, I'm Jacob Albright. I am a 2020 graduate and I will be hosting tonight's event along with Jamie Spencer.
Welcome to all students, parents, staff, coaches, and everyone else watching tonight. This year's school and sports were cut short, but in all it was still very successful. Many Norwassa championships were won and many offices should have been attended. Being a student athlete is a privilege and opens so many opportunities. With that being said, here are some remarks from Mr. Smith.
Good evening, Fort Francis High School. Welcome to the 2019-2020 Virtual Athletic Awards Ceremony. So yes, I'm reporting live from home because of this unconventional school year, but that doesn't diminish all the athletic performances that we saw this year. I'd like to start off by thanking Miss Jean and Mr. Sinclair for all their hard work. As athletic director, there's hours and hours of work that goes into providing you with the athletic opportunities that you have. So I would definitely like to thank them. I'd also like to thank the coaches for their hours that they put in spending time with athletes after school and on weekends in giving up their own time to help you develop as athletes, as young men or women, and as students. I'd also like to thank the parents for driving kids to and from practices, games, tournaments, and the volunteers for helping scorekeep in line games. You all make athletics happen at Fort Francis High School. So we had a very interesting school year, yes, but it started off with a wonderful performance from our cross-country athletes, sending a handful of athletes to OFSA down south, as well as our football team winning their first championship in decades. We had some other OFSA performances by the senior girls volleyball team and some Norwassa championships from some of the junior teams as well. So on behalf of myself, Mrs. Leishman, Mr. Bird, Mr. Bliss, we'd like to welcome you, and please grab some popcorn, sit back, relax with your family, and enjoy what we have to offer for you tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. And now we can get on to the awards. Here is Mr. Johnny London presenting the golf award.
Hey Caleb, it's Coach London here. I just wanted to say congratulations on the MVP award for the 2019 Muskie golf season. It was great to have you on the team. It was nice to travel with you, and we look forward to having you back in 2020 if there's a season. Hopefully there will be. But again, congratulations on the MVP award from the 2019 golf season. Hopefully we get to see you again in the fall, and we look forward to doing some more work on your game. It was a pleasure to watch you play. Thanks, and hopefully you're doing well, and look forward to seeing you again in 2020. All right, congratulations again on the MVP. Take care.
Now we have Mr. Vic Davis and Coach Lou presenting football MVP.
Your MVP for football, Brady Meeks and Sean Huziak. Now, Sean, remember him last year not playing for us, and I spent the whole year telling him that I had a special plan, and he was part of it. And thanks for showing up because we won.
Yeah, I'll just say a little thing about Sean too. Yeah, we missed him the year before. We were glad to have him back. He is a guy that is relentless and determined. And we were a passing team this year, and I know for like me and Brady, we wanted to pass all the time, and some of the coaches got on us. But I said it didn't matter, because if we need 10 yards, we'll just give the ball to Sean, and we know we're going to get the first down. So, yeah, congratulations, Sean.
Brady, now there's another one. He's one of those players that you wish you had every year, because he gave everything that he possibly could for us to win. Every game he was in it to win, and that fed off all the other players, and they just absorbed it, and our outcome was proof that what Brady was doing worked.
Yep, absolutely. When I first started coaching, I think it was about the same time when Brady started playing, and that's when we were having numbers, trouble for the numbers coming out and everything, but Brady was always there, and he'd always do what you would ask him to do. But in the beginning, he couldn't throw the ball accurately 10 yards down the field, but that goes to show how things change. And it was a pleasure coaching with him and playing with them and watching him thrive and succeed out there. And we wish him all the best in your future football career. And congratulations to the both of you, well deserving. We had a wonderful football team. And I think we should say, too, that it was a great football team, and all your teammates, I think, give them a pat on the back. They all helped you succeed on this fantastic season we had. So congratulations again.
Next, we have Mrs. Marla Knutson on behalf of John Dutton for the Cross Country Awards.
I'll be presenting the Cross Country MVP Award for John Dutton this year. The cross-country team had an exceptional season this year, dominating races throughout our season and becoming NWASA champions for the first time ever. We had 18 athletes qualify and represent Fort High at OFSA in Sudbury. Again, an unprecedented achievement for our school. There are a number of outstanding athletes that need to be considered when choosing this year's MVP, but ultimately our winner is someone who I'm certain would be the choice of all of his teammates as well. This athlete went undefeated all season, handily winning every race, including Dryden, where he was a grade 9 competing against many grade 11-12 runners in their open 5K. He went on to become the NWASA novice champion and ran to an incredible 5th place finish at OFSA in a field of nearly 300 athletes. This was the best showing by any NWASA runner and a first top 5 finish for a boy from our region. This year's cross-country MVP is Trent Wilson. Congratulations, Trent.
Now we have Terry McCone with the Junior Boys Volleyball Awards.
Hello, Muskie parents, coaches, and athletes. My name is Terry McMahon. I am the head coach of the Junior Boys Muskie Volleyball program. Overall, our boys had a great season. We only had 2 returning players. We were a very green team with lots to learn. But the boys worked hard and they learned a ton, and I'm proud of them for all our accomplishments this season. We ended up finishing in 3rd place. That's no indication of our development over the season and how far we came. I still believe that we were the team to beat and that we came the farthest in terms of development, skill, and in-system volleyball. And I think it will be very apparent in the seasons to come. I'm really looking forward to watching the boys grow on and off the court. I want to thank the boys for working so hard over the season and trusting the process. I'd like to thank our athletes' parents for their continued support. We literally couldn't do it without you, so thank you. Junior Boys only has 1 award, and that's an MVP. This year's winner came far on and off the court. He showed up, he worked hard. He filled multiple roles without complaining, and he ended up turning into one of our leaders. So this year's Junior Boys Muskie Volleyball MVP is Andros Breer. Congratulations, Andros.
Next, for the senior boys volleyball team, we have Mr. Gibson.
We may have had a roller coaster season, but for me, the true measure of a team's success doesn't come from its wins and losses or the color of a medal. Success is found in the perseverance needed to overcome adversity, the passion to play your best, no matter the score, and coming together to shrug off defeat or celebrate victory. This is why I have decided to recognize 2 remarkable student athletes as co-MVPs for their contributions to the volleyball team this year. There was one player who was responsible for building our team this year. A passionate leader, always with a positive attitude and striving to better his game. Never wanting to stop, he would play his heart out, even when his shoulder told him to quit. Ever since I watched him climb the wall and TA, I knew he was going to do great things. And the other MVP, he was just as impactful on the court and as supportive of his fellow players. But he also showed so much growth in his game and character this year. Whether it was hitting, blocking, passing, serving, or helping his teammates regain their composure after an error, he continued to impress me throughout the season. This year's co-MVPs for senior boys volleyball are Michael Vandere and Caleb Allen. Congratulations, guys.
Now we have Gordon McCabe with the Junior Girls Basketball Awards.
Hello out there in Muskie land and welcome to my kitchen. Junior Girls Basketball. I will always remember this as the little team that could. The only time I ever had a team on the floor that was taller than the other team was in practice. But we learned very quickly that while we weren't very big, we were very, very fast and we had to play that way. And we had a wonderful season. We were led by our grade 10s. Heaven, Tatum, Ayana, our leading scorers. Emma and Anna were so steady, and Joyce was everywhere. But we couldn't play the way we did without our grade 9s, and they came so far. We only had 11 players, and we played full bore all the time. And without their progress, we would not have had the success that we did. When it comes to a most valuable player, certainly 4 players were worthy of consideration. Heaven, Tatum, Ayana, Joyce, all of them were keys to our success. So Mrs. Pesic and I really thought, who was the player's MVP? Who was the person who showed through their dedication to the team, through their leadership on the floor and off the floor, through their unselfishness, was really our MVP. And when all came down to it, we felt that the MVP of the 2019 Junior Girls Basketball team was Heaven States. Outstanding contribution, Junior Girls Basketball. How do you award one player for outstanding contribution when the reason we were so successful was because of such a team effort? But there was one player who epitomized the way that we played. Running everywhere on defense, hustling, and she went from being a third-line player in grade 9 to a solid starter in grade 10 and was numerous times our leading scorer. She played the way our team played, and our team keyed off her defense and her hustle. And when I say hustle, I've never seen a player who worked harder. We played much of our season with just 2-minute shifts, and every time she came off the floor, she was perspiring because she had worked so hard. It wasn't an easy choice, but for outstanding contribution to the 2019 Junior Girls Basketball team, Ayana Gagne.
Gordon McCabe will be presenting for the Senior Girls Basketball team also.
Senior Girls Basketball. We had the best team all season, but for a whole bunch of different reasons, which there's no point worrying about now, we did not have the best team that Friday in November when they played Norwassa. With the exception of Jamie, we all came out with flat shooting, and we just didn't play our best basketball game. But we'd won together, and we lost together. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to remember the wonderful things about this season. I'm going to remember the great times we had, both on and off the court. I'm going to remember that game at Westgate against St. Ignatius, which was one of the best girls basketball games I've ever been involved in. I'm going to remember practices where we were goofing around, where we were working hard. I'm going to remember the times that we shared together on the bus, on the bench. I'm going to remember the players on this team. We spent at least 3 years together, all of us, and I'm really, really, really going to miss you. And I want to thank you for your contribution to Muskie sports and to making the last number of years for me so much fun. As to our MVP, this probably isn't going to be a lot of surprise to anybody. She's been our leader for the last 4 years. She is one of the best basketball players that I've ever coached, and our MVP for 2019 is Grace Petznick. Senior girls basketball, outstanding contribution. This is such a tough award because any one of the 12 players on this team would be a deserving recipient. All of you would have been starters in almost any other year, and yet some of you had to live with getting less court time than what you probably wanted and you probably deserved. But I chose as the winner of this award my first mistake in my return to coaching. I actually cut her in grade 9. But thankfully, I was able to bring her back after less than a week, and she never did miss her grade 9 season. Since then, she has been an absolute rock for the Muskie basketball program. She is not the best shooter on the team. She is not the fastest player on the team. She is probably not the best ball handler on the team. There's not one thing that we can say she does better than anybody else, except maybe use this. Her basketball IQ made her the player that I wanted controlling our team when we were involved in a close game. It is with great pleasure as I present my last award to this group of girls that I've been with for so long to give the Outstanding Contribution Award to Alina Eldridge. Take care, everybody.
Please welcome Mr. Corey Smith with the Junior Boys Basketball Awards.
Mr. Smith here again, and this time I'm presenting the award for Junior Boys Basketball for MVP and Outstanding Contribution, or the Tim Callahan Memorial Trophy. So, you know it's going to be a good season when you have over 50 boys come out to the first tryout. I had heard about this grade 9 group, how they were really strong, great athletes, great students, and their work ethic was unlike any other. So as we got down, we made the team. We had a strong start to our season with 2 or 3 wins right off the bat. We then went to a senior tournament in Brandon, Manitoba with the senior boys team, and we were able to see the team come together. It brought out the best in all of our students, and we had a lot of fun and saw what it takes to be a great team. We came back re-energized, refocused, went to a tournament in Thunder Bay, did fairly well there as well, and then came back to our season, and we're second place heading into the Norwassa Championships. We had a couple tough injuries. One of our stronger athletes was injured most of the year. Another one went down with a concussion. But the next athletes in line were ready to step up and take their place. We won a really tough game at home with a buzzer beater, and we were also able to win the semifinals in the Norwassa Championships, only to play Dryden in the finals. From the second game of the season, we knew that it was likely we were gonna see Dryden in the finals. They were strong all year, and we were able to pull out another victory and take the Norwassa Championships in the finals. So it was a very tough decision. Like I said, when you see 3 or 4 grade 9s start, like I said, we knew we had a really strong group, but we also had 2 or 3 grade 10s that were really the linchpins of the team. So we had a couple athletes that played almost every minute of every game. They started in, I think, once or twice this specific athlete was fouled out, and you could see the momentum of the game changed. So this one athlete, when they weren't in the game, the rest of the players played differently, and they didn't have as much confidence as when this athlete was on the floor. He was one of our toughest athletes, one of our hardest working athletes, and one of our highest scorers all year. The MVP and Outstanding Contribution Award goes to Brendan Jourdain. Thank you.
And for the senior boys basketball team, we have Mr. Greg St. Croix and Bryce Coyle.
Hi everybody, Coach St. Croix here, along with Coach Coyle, senior boys basketball team. To begin, I'd like to thank the athletic department. Christine, you worked extremely hard throughout the season and throughout the year. Thank you. To the scorekeepers, timers, and referees, you guys are integral components of the court sports season and are the best in the league.
Good evening, guys. I just want to start by commending all the players on a very good year. We had a very talented and fun group to coach. Our practices were fun and super competitive. Our veterans improved from where they were last season coming back this year, and the rookies that we had this year showed great improvement as the season went on, which we'll touch on a little bit. We started the season with a couple league games, and then we went to a tournament in Brandon that we've gone to for the last couple of years. We played some really tough teams from Manitoba, which was a really good learning experience for especially our rookies, to see where we need to get to in order to be successful in our home league, which ultimately led us to the accomplishment of getting to NWASA.
After Christmas, we journeyed to Thunder Bay and finished second at the Falcon Invitational with great games against Hammarskjöld, St. Pat's, which are a couple of the top teams in the city, and we lost in the championship game to St. Ignatius. They've been the top team in the district for nearly a decade. And after each of our games, coaches would come up to us and they always commented how hard our guys work, their ability to compete from the tip of the ball, and just play at an extremely high intensity. Big part of that is our starting lineup. In league play, our size, skill on offense, determination on defense, and competitiveness on both ends of the floor were really remarkable. Having Caleb Allen return to the program was huge. He's always a threat to block shots and facilitate on offense. Garrett Hyatt, when healthy, added to our flexibility to the starting group, along with Sean Husiak, Wyatt Richards, and Michael Vanderring. One of our senior players, Dominic States, he subbed in to play against the team's other centers, which is not an easy task.
Yeah, Dom, he really stepped up for us. At the start of the season, we didn't know if we should play him at guard or forward. We talked to him and he said he was up for the challenge to be our backup center behind Wyatt, and he did a really good job this year. He's strong and physical, so he was able to use that to play against guys that were consistently bigger than him. And he was skilled away from the basket, which allowed him to really stretch the defense out. And by the end of the year, he started really figuring out how he could use that to his advantage offensively. So that was a credit to him, how he developed as the season went on. And as far as Caleb and Garrett, those were nice additions that didn't play the previous year. But it was good to have them back, like St. Croix said, in the program. Garrett offered us another shooter that could stretch the floor, and Caleb, just with his size, really rounded out our starting lineup. And he could control the rebound, the boards, and he had great court vision for such a tall player, which you don't get very often. And then there was Wyatt and Sean and Mike, who had been with the program last year, that we kind of leaned on pretty heavily for the bulk of our scoring and distributing the ball and just showing everybody else here kind of the ropes with some of the rookies that we had coming in this year.
One of the players that showed massive improvement was Will, and throughout the season just kept working on both ends of the floor. But his defense really got him into a lot of games. He was able to turn the ball over and ended up getting a lot of easy layups, open layups on offense. Braden was another player. Usually came in and he was able to knock down a couple three-pointers and really make the difference in a number of games. Now, I know we're trying to get him to amp up his defensive side of the ball, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do that next year. Another player, Brett. Old Brett. I always told him to get in the game and get his nose dirty, and opponents didn't like to play against Brett just because of his work ethic. Then we had Santino, who plays with so much speed and intensity. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to stay in the entire season, but when he was in, he was really good for us. And finally, you have Jordan. Jordan loves to shoot the ball, and if Jordan gets the ball, Jordan's going to shoot it. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the guys there, Coach Coyle?
I think we probably had the hardest working rookie group of any team in our league for sure. You touched on a lot, like Will became maybe our best defensive player, and we had to lean on him heavily by the end of the year, and that was a credit to how hard he worked this season. He took everything that we asked him to do and asked him to improve on, and he worked his butt off to get to that point. Braden was really working hard on his defense at the end of the year, always, again, a threat to stretch the floor with his shooting. Brett, I don't know how many big rebounds, sneaky layups he got just for hustling. Same with Santino and Jordan. When they got their chances, they tried to make the most of it, and they played hard no matter what the score was, what the situation was, which is exactly what you want from first-year guys looking to get minutes in the future.
We had a great league. We went undefeated, which gave us a bye to the final. In Norwassa, the guys played really well in the first half. The game was never really in jeopardy. We just didn't play our best. We managed to win against a very eager Sioux North team, but we didn't play our best. But hey, a win is a win. Now in Nwassa, we lost 2 straight games to St. Ignatius. They're the better team. They're really, really good, and we need to keep our head up, because when you play a quality team like St. Ignatius, those things happen. Anyways, on to our MVPs. This year, our MVPs each brought their own unique abilities to the team that made them over and above valuable to the team. Sean Huziak was our point guard and floor leader. Extremely intense on both ends of the court. This year, he added a three-point shot to his game that really added another dimension to the lineup. And whenever we played a new team, we could always count on Sean to have scouted the group. He was going to be a threat. Sean was also a fiery side, real competitor. He's not going to get pushed around. It's always funny. He'd do it with a sneaky smile. I loved it.
So yeah, we talked a lot about who our MVPs were going to be this season because we had a few fitting choices, and anybody that's seen our games could probably see the same thing, that we had some veteran players that all showed a commitment to improving themselves, but they were also heavily invested in what they demanded of their teammates. They pushed every practice to be as worthwhile as it could be, and they didn't take it easy on anyone, including themselves, when they went after each other. I can think of many instances where we wouldn't have been successful in certain games given if it wasn't for the plays that one of these guys made in many of the games. all these guys brought different elements to the team in terms of individual skills, which made it really difficult to compare them amongst each other when we had to decide on an MVP. And because they had these very unique skill sets, we decided it would be best to honor all three of these guys for their hard work, competitiveness, commitment to this program, and for their actions on and off the floor, which are all factors that both of us associate with Muskie basketball MVPs. So, like St. Croix was saying, Sean, he was our floor leader. He did most of the ball handling and distributing and running of the offense. And he was one of our best defenders that we often tasked with trying to shut down our opponent's key players, no matter what position they really played. And all those traits made him invaluable to our team.
Another one of our MVPs is Wyatt Richards. He's a rebounding machine. He's tough defensively. He's added a short inside game that allows him to make little shots off of rebounds. And when he gets fouled, he can shoot free throws. And probably it's overrated to a point, but he had 3 dunks this year. And I've been coaching for quite some time. I've seen a few dunks, never by any member of a Muskie team. And getting 3 dunks in games is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, Wyatt was our main presence in the paint. He worked hard after last season on his footwork, which he combined with his size and his athleticism to make him really tough for opposing teams to stop. And he was probably the focal point for most of our opponents in terms of them game planning to try and stop us. And he still managed to find ways to score the basketball. And like St. Croix said, when he wanted to, he could control the boards offensively and defensively, which really helped our team overall.
Our third and final MVP is Michael Vanderay. Mike is a pure scorer. He shoots the 3 ball as good as any player that's been in the program. He's gotten better on both ends of the floor, and typically once he makes a 3 and he's locked in, it's over. He can score 15, 18, 24 points quickly, and Mike's done that a number of times throughout the season. And one thing, as a coach, after every practice, every game, every trip, he always comes up, "Thank you, coaches," and that's a pretty remarkable quality. Never missing an opportunity to show appreciation.
Yeah, Mike was our best perimeter scorer. We relied on him a lot to hopefully make some open looks that we tried to create for him. And to his credit, I think he really worked on improving his defense, starting from last year even, which he began to use by the end of the year. You could see that he kind of started to figure some things out, and he was using that defense to help force turnovers and get out transition to get some easy buckets. So he didn't just rely on his shooting by the end of the year. He was coming up with other ways to be productive on the offensive end and the defensive end. And so, yeah, that to me was just a credit for how hard he worked. And to St. Croix's point, all 3 of these guys, and I touched on a little bit earlier, just with their demeanor, they were polite, respectful young men that always, whether we were in a restaurant, whether it was practice, they always had a thank you. They always had manners, and that's something that coaches miss. And again, it was another reason why it was so hard to pick between all 3 of these guys.
This year, our MVPs for Muskie basketball is Sean Huziak, Wyatt Richards, and Michael Vanderay. Congratulations, guys.
Congrats, guys.
Next up is Mr. Daly with the junior girls volleyball team.
Hi, Bill Daly here. I had the distinct pleasure of co-coaching the junior girls volleyball team this year. I've coached many teams over the last 30 plus years in education, and I'll have to say that this was one of the most enjoyable ones that I've had the pleasure of coaching. The girls worked hard in practice and during the games. Their attitudes were excellent. They were great teammates. They participated and showed great sportsmanship, whether winning or losing, and overall we're just a wonderful group of student athletes. Although the season didn't turn out quite the way we'd wanted it to, we were certainly hoping to win the league championship. Didn't work out that way due to injuries and just the way things work out sometimes. But girls showed perseverance right till the end, worked hard, and had positive attitudes throughout. The winner of the MVP for the girls volleyball team this year was an amazing athlete, very coachable, very likable, great teammate. Overall, just a wonderful student athlete, showed leadership in all areas, and scared both teammates and players in the league with her huge hits. The MVP for the junior girls volleyball team for this year is Sierra Ogden.
Senior Girls Volleyball Awards will now be presented by Mr. Rowan.
Hello everyone, my name is Dwayne Rowan and I'm the head coach of the Senior Girls Volleyball team. First, I'd like to thank a few people that supported the volleyball program this year. Thank you, Christine Jean, for your continued support as athletic director for the past season. I would also like to thank my co-coaches, Michelle McCool and Alex Adrian, for their contribution to practices and games. Your dedication to the team was invaluable this year and greatly appreciated. I encourage both of you to think of taking on a bigger role next season. The Senior Girls Volleyball team entered this season with a roughly equal number of grade 11 and 12 athletes. There was a different atmosphere with our team this year. The two age groups struggled to gel at times, but we still found success thanks to a very talented group of athletes that simply wanted to play ball. This team added a stronger defense due in large part to our first-year seniors. Many times our defense would come out of nowhere and dig a ball to keep the rally going. Our diverse offense, which included shoots, loops, front and back quicks, and slides, kept the opponents guessing where the hit was coming from, and the hits were hard and fast. Our goal this year was to control the tempo of the game, and we were able to do that throughout most of the season. We finished our regular season with an 8-0 record in Norwassa. This was followed by a 3-0 sweep of the Dryden Eagles in the Norwassa finals. Later in the same week, we traveled to Thunder Bay for the NWASA Championships and defeated the top-seeded Westgate Tigers in a 2-game sweep, winning each best-of-5 games 3 straight. We traveled to Kingsville for the OFSA Championships and played our best match first. We defeated the Eden Flyers, ranked 7th, 2-1, but that was the end of our wins at OFSA. Our final game at OFSA, we needed to win to finish in the top 8, but lost 2-1 to Port Perry. It was an exciting back-and-forth match between two great teams, and although it was not the result we wanted, I would like to commend the team for battling to the end. It was a pleasure working with this group of athletes. At this time, we would like to thank our graduating senior players, Alina Eldridge, Jamie Spencer, Grace Petznick, Katrina Slomke, Simone Payne, and Carmen Hebert. We have truly enjoyed working with all of you over the past 3 years, both with the Muskies and Vipers volleyball programs. We hope you continue with your love of volleyball in some way after Fort High. In volleyball, many players have an opportunity to take the spotlight, and this season was no exception. One thing we talk about as a team is that every player is valuable, regardless of the number of kills, digs, or aces that they contribute to our team. It is challenging to select this award on a team that is balanced offensively and where several are deserving. In selecting this award, contributions of players on and off the court were considered. This player was a leader on our team. She was a steady presence in pressure-filled matches and raised her level of play as the level of match increased. She made a significant improvement in her defensive abilities this year and had a powerful right side and back quick attack that was virtually unstoppable. She also took her role as co-captain seriously and spent a lot of extra time with the organization of the team. The MVP for the Senior Girls Volleyball team is Jamie Spencer. Congratulations. The PhD Award is sponsored by the Vipers Club Volleyball Program. It is an award given to a player on the senior team that has exhibited perseverance, hustle, and determination. Once again, there are several girls that fit this category this year. However, one did stand out at critical times in our season. Aurora Hutton pushes herself to the limit, both in practice and during games. She is a very talented universal volleyball player. Whenever a position was needed, Aurora would accept and excel in that role, and did so without question. Her float serves were aggressive, and as the season progressed, she added the jump float to her arsenal. Her read and react defense is very strong. Thanks to some weight training at home, she added considerable power to her attack. She is also very intelligent and can find ways to score points in a game, keeping the other team on their toes. She is very determined to make the best play possible, and she calls for the lowest set so she can speed up her offensive attack. This level of perseverance and determination can often lead to frustration. Aurora has matured this season and continues to explore new ways to deal with frustration. I know she is also training during this COVID off-season and wish her all the best next year. Again, this year's recipient of the PhD award is Aurora Hutton. Congratulations.
Everyone, I hope you are all staying home safe. This was Northern Lights School of Skating's second season offering various skating programs. Like many other sports groups, our season was abruptly cut short due to the COVID pandemic. Despite this, we had another successful season from September to March. Skaters from various disciplines achieved many goals and accomplishments during this time. Our introductory programs like Can Skate and Pre-Can Skate are not possible without the support of our experienced skaters who volunteer as program assistants every weekend. Aside from her ongoing contribution, this skater also is a great role model to her fellow skaters and continues to put forth great effort and determination in accomplishing several of her own goals this season. It is my honor to recognize this year's Northern Lights School of Skating Outstanding Contribution and MVP award to once again Hallie Nugent. Hallie, thank you for your ongoing contribution and dedication to our Learn to Skate programs, and congratulations on all your personal achievements this season. Hope to see you soon. Ashley.
Hi everyone, I'm Jerry Lynn Cusno, a coach with Border Skating Club, and I've been Erica's coach since she was 2 years old. Erica had an amazing skating season. She started her venture into becoming a Skate Canada coach by completing the Skate Canada Clinic. Erica loves to work with the younger skaters and is an asset to our coaching team. She was once again successful at passing some more tests in the dance, free skate, and artistic disciplines of skating. Erica skated her first artistic program this year, and wow, she just loved it. This is something totally up her alley. She totally enjoyed the program, and it was so obvious every time she skated it. Erica loves to perform and skate. She has been very successful at the competitions this year, which made me very proud. She is one of our club's biggest fans, cheerleader, and a great kid to have at the rink. Congratulations, Erica, on being the recipient of this award. Can't wait to see what your year brings you.
The awards for Muskie Taekwondo will now be presented by Kendall Richardson on behalf of Mr. Ken Anderson.
Hello everybody, my name is Kendall Richardson and I'm here to introduce the Muskie Award for the Northwest Taekwondo Club Most Valuable Contributor on behalf of Ken Anderson. Ken and I have spoken about this and we both agree that Anna Johnson is a phenomenal athlete and student. Ken has mentioned that at the EMO Club, Anna is constantly helping all the younger children, going above and beyond what is required for her own athletics, and that she is a very regular attender and always tries her best. I know this to be true because Anna was in one of my classes last semester, and she is definitely a phenomenal student and certainly deserves this award. So many congratulations to you, Anna. I hope you are doing well at this time. Take care, and that's all I have.
The next sport we have is curling, and to start off we have Miss Tirza Barrett to present the award for the mixed curling team.
Hi, I'm Tirza Barrett, and I coach the mixed Muskie curling team. The Muskie's mixed curling team had a fantastic year this year. It consisted of 3 brand new players who entered grade 9 in the fall and was skipped by a grade 10 student who began curling last year. The 4 of them were extremely dedicated, attending every practice and portraying good attitudes and a willingness to learn. They were third place coming out of qualifiers for Norwassa, but at Norwassa they surprised everyone by sliding into the final game and missing gold by margins. The winner of the MVP award for mixed curling this year was a leader on and off the ice, practiced patience with new curlers. He was the epitome of a role model and a positive representation of Fort High. This athlete was quiet, but that was a secret weapon as he observed, learned, and applied skills towards his game. Braden, you are a pleasure to coach and work with, and I have no doubt that there is a bright future for you in this sport. I am pleased and honored to name Braden Savvy as this year's MVP for mixed curling. Congratulations, Braden.
Next, boys curling will now be presented by Mr. Ron Silver.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Ron Silver, Muskie boys curling coach. Talk a little of our season this year. Once again, we had a great curling season for Muskie curling with the boys. With practices and games 3 times a week. The boys, Owen, Jordan, Brett, Kian, Braden, and Riley spent a lot of time together on the ice and had a lot of fun, learned a lot of things, and yeah, it was a great season all in all. Our first event of the season was the Norwassa qualifier held here in Fort Frances in late December. The boys played well, they played great. We tried a few things, mixing up our lineup and just to see how things were going for us. And we come out of that event fairly well. We did have 1 tie and 1 loss, so we didn't win the event. We actually fell to Rainy River, but we did finish second, and we did qualify for the Norwassa Championships, excuse me, which were being held in Kenora, Ontario in mid-January. So mid-January we went to Kenora for the Norwassa Championships, and the boys brought their A game. They totally dominated the event, went undefeated to capture the Norwassa gold medal and punch our ticket to the Nwassa Championships to be held later in Long Lac. We continued to practice, continued to play through the season, and March began with us actually on the road coming home from Sault Ste. Marie, where some of the boys, Owen, Brett, Kian, competed in the U18 Provincial Championships, and they did fairly well. On our way home, brought us to Long Lac, Ontario for the Nwassa Championships. And again, another great event. Boys did well, represented Fort Frances High School and the town of Fort Frances phenomenally. And did suffer 1 loss to the eventual champions, and so we ended up settling for the silver medal, which is fantastic. I mean, quite proud of these boys for everything that they did all season. So, this year's MVP, well, it's tough to make a decision. All the guys played great. They were all fantastic role models and representatives of Fort Frances High School and town of Fort Frances. And they should all be proud of themselves. They all brought something different to the table, which does make the choice difficult. But however, as the season went on and the more we saw and the more I learned, it became clear that this year's MVP had to be our leader, had to be our skip. He brought the boys a long way. He was the glue that held us together. When things went bad, he was the voice of reason. And yes, it was phenomenal. This year's Muskie Boys MVP is Owen Ritchie's. Well-deserving, Owen. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Everyone, this award is for Girls Curling MVP. I have had the honor of watching the recipient of this award grow into the authentic curler that she is today. From a young age and throughout her Muskie curling career, she has played a significant role in the success that the girls have achieved throughout this past season. The girls had an outstanding season this year as they topped both Norwassa qualifiers and Norwassa with an undefeated record. They went on to fight hard through challenging ice conditions at Nwassa and to qualify for OFSA. Tonight's recipient repeatedly came to every practice prepared and ready to do any drill or training exercise that coaching sent her way. This student not only came with a lot of energy and positive vibes, but she also spread that to everyone around her, whether it be coaches, officials, teammates, or opponents. Her understanding of the game, management of time, and hard work off the ice in the classroom allowed her to be a wonderful example for her fellow student athletes. I speak on behalf of the other coaches when I say that we are very saddened that this recipient is graduating and won't be curling for the Muskies next year, but we are assured that this girl's future in curling is nothing but bright. I would like to congratulate Jillian Cousineau on a phenomenal season and curling career representing the Fort Frances Muskies. Your role was a vital part of this year's success, and we are very proud of all your accomplishments while we had the pleasure of coaching you. Congratulations.
And now to present the Girls Curling Award and Outstanding Contribution, Haley Beaudry.
Hi everyone, this award is for Curling Outstanding Contribution. This year's recipient is a young lady that has demonstrated going above and beyond throughout her 4 years as a Muskie athlete. As this recipient started curling at the age of 5, some of the other coaches remember her coming with a passion and a smile week after week and returning year after year to learn how to curl. As she became one of our experienced curlers over the years, we would often see her aiding new curlers. Over this past season, we watched as she used her knowledge and patience to help our new grade 9 curlers learn the sport and become a part of the team. Throughout her years representing the high school, this student could often be found volunteering at the curling club and assisting with the Little Rocks curling program after school. She was a great role model to her peers through her leadership skills and kindness. Additionally, this individual was a part of many Muskie girls curling successes. After being part of an OFSA medaling team in grade 9, then going on to steer the team to another OFSA appearance in grade 11, where the girls received a Team Sportsmanship Award, she finished off her grade 12 year qualifying for OFSA. This recipient has spent a lot of time over the past season working with coaches to improve her shot and strategy. With high goals to achieve, she set out to tackle any challenge set ahead of her with determination and a positive attitude. Myself, as well as my co-coaches, Kim and Tirza, will miss this girl next season as she too will be graduating, and we hope that her calm demeanor and love for the game only leads her to bigger and brighter opportunities in her future. We are very pleased to congratulate Ashley Payne on receiving the Outstanding Contribution Award this year and on her tremendous representation and dedication to the Fort Frances Muskies curling team over the past 4 seasons. Congratulations, Ashley.
Now we have the awards for the Muskie Nordic skiing team presented by Mr. Jordy Bird.
Hi, I'm Jordan Baird and I'm the coach for the Fort Frances Muskies Nordic ski team. This year was a great year for the Nordic ski team. We had a small squad. We had 6 racers going to races, one of those being a 7-8 and the rest being high school. But we performed very well at both the local and provincial level, so we had a great year. There was a few really stellar results in particular. In the senior girls category at both Norwassa and NWassa, we podium 1, 2, and 3. And our junior girl, Emma Torceda, she came 2nd overall in Norwassa and came 1st overall in NWassa, thus including the club racers as well, because the Nordic skiing were split into club and high school, so she managed to be club skiers, which is really phenomenal. And then we had Brooklyn Chura in the grade 7/8. She came 3rd in Norwassa and 2nd in NWassa. It's not really the official competition, but we had a race for the 7/8 Kaylee Matura was our top racer, 24th out of 114. Corey was 25th, right behind her. And Angie was 38 in the high school category. So it was incredible to have such great finishes all in the top quarter there of the racers, and we especially were very impressed to see that Kaylee improved her position by 10 places from last year. So that carries me forward into the awards. I'll start with the most improved. And most improved for this year was Kaylee Matura, who went from 34th to 24th at OFSA this year, which is a great improvement. She showed up for practice day in, day out. She barely missed any, and she worked really hard, and we saw improvements steadily throughout the year, so that was amazing to watch. And congratulations, Kaylee. You absolutely deserve the most improved award. And for our MVP, we've got to give it to Emma Torseva for her outstanding performances, both locally, getting first overall at NWASA, and also provincially getting top 10 finish and 9th at OFSA. And she also showed up for practices and worked very hard throughout the year, despite some setbacks with illness. So congratulations to Emma for her outstanding performances this year as well.